All right, here we go. We are completing the square to transform this equation. And I think you've done this before, but you're basically trying to create a perfect square trinomial. So you need an extra value so that you could factor that nicely into a binomial. So to do that, I take half of this middle coefficient, and then I square that value. And that's what I put in the blank. If I add that to the left side, I have to add that to the right side to balance my equation. Then I'm looking and trying to factor that. Well, that would be y minus 1 times y minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 cancels itself out. You can use Desmos if you want to draw this graph. So if you use Desmos and you draw this graph, you can just type it in right here. Y minus 1 squared equals 8x. And you can use Desmos to go ahead and find some nice points to put on there. We'll be spending some time later in the unit just talking about parabolas themselves, and so we'll get a little bit better at that. So you can just sort of trace around until you find a couple of nice points here. And I think the nice point, which I found more easily before, was 2, 5. And so I'm looking for really 5 points on that parabola, but you can just, for right now, be tracing along and finding those 5 nice points with your Desmos graph. Okay. Opens to the right, vertex at 0, 1. The next one is going to be from another equation. So to complete the square, I need to make sure I gather up my x terms and then gather up my y terms. So I gather up the terms that had x in them, I gather up the terms that had y, and then I factor out any leading coefficient. So I did negative 6x divided by 3. That's how I got this negative 2x. I still take half the middle number squared, and then half of 12 is 6, squared is 36. On the right side, I have to make sure that I'm thinking about the distributive property. That 1 wasn't really a 1, it was really a 3 times 1. The 36 is just 36, so this becomes x minus 1 squared, y plus 6 squared, and let's see here, 12 and 36 would be 48, plus 3 more, 51. This should produce an ellipse. I have both the x and the y are squared. I have both are positive, but they have different leading coefficients for that one. Next, you're going to go ahead and complete these homework problems. I do want you to submit the file to Schoology. If you've done the whole file in Notability, then it's probably easiest to submit the whole thing. If you decide to work in Classkick, it might be easier to submit from there. You can meet me in Classkick if you want to during those office hours. You can just do it independently on your own and check your answers. You can email me and set up another time if you're working at another time and having some trouble too. So let me know how it goes, and don't forget to comment on the post or to contact me somehow every day. Thanks. Bye.